Yeah, aye. Lionel and Patrick, what a pair, thinking outside the box. They don't play fair, unconventional ways, breaking all the rules, making their own path, never following the fools. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same. Dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain. Lionel's a dreamer with stars in his eyes. Patrick's a schemer with tricks in disguise. Together they're unstoppable, a force to be reckoned with. Their unconventional playbook, they'll never be second. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same. Dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain. Against all odds they stand tall. Through highs and lows they never fall. Lionel and Patrick, a duo so rare. With their unconventional playbook, they're always there. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same. Dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook, Patrick's Picks edition. I know you guys have been waiting all week. This is going to be strictly NFL picks. That's why we didn't cover it on Friday for the college games. We're going to be doing NFL stuff. Got my guy Patrick Buchanan in the house. Pat, man, what's been up?
Nothing much, man. Long week, exhausted, right? It's homecoming week, so it's my long weeks in the fall. So, but homecoming went good. We ain't got no football team, so we do volleyball Friday night and all day soccer's on Saturday. So it's funny, everybody, all the soccer teams won with the same score, 3-1. That's a pick right there. If you could have got that, Vegas had those lines, who could have predicted 3-1 score for every soccer game?
That's crazy, man. That's great. Yeah, your 9-to-5 job when it comes to homecoming, that's got to be one of the busiest times a year for you, basically because you're responsible for everything, all the event planning, all the logistics and stuff like that. I'm sure that just takes a lot of time.
Oh, it takes a lot of time. I only had one day off, and that was Wednesday. Wednesday was my only day off this week. If you guys look at me, this is exhaustion right here from homecoming week, right? It's our, it's like the Indy 500, right? The Indy 500, it's the start of the season, right? So this is my start of all sports, the big thing, so homecoming. So I'm through it. Oh, I'm through it. It went fantastic. But yeah, man, the hours that I worked this week were ridiculous, everything we had going on. The joy of it, I have to be at the dance tonight. So that's the one joy. I'm not at the dance. Hopefully the kids are having fun, but no dance for me.
Yeah. We've got, on my end, we got our season starting on Monday, first day of practice. First game is not until November 1st, but we're going to get after it, start putting some stuff in. Should have a pretty good team down in La Crosse. So I'm looking forward to the season, but also the one thing that everybody is looking forward to, I know I've been looking forward to, I got my pen and my pad right here, is Patrick Picks. I know you've been looking at some things. We're also, after Patrick's Picks, we also have a Lionel's Lock as well. I had a really good college lock, that if we would have done this on Friday, we would have won some money because I had Michigan covering the spread against USC. Michigan did the job. Not only were they given 4.5 points, but they ended up winning the football game as well. So that would have been my lock. But I also have an NFL lock as well. So we'll get to that after Patrick's Picks. Pat, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go, man. This week, I had to think about it, and I was like, man, this just for everybody. Everyone that gambled last week, everybody lost money.
Everybody did.
Everybody lost money. I don't even care when my picks, nothing. Everybody lost money last week. That just happened. I pay attention to the stats of it. Is what it is. So I said, hey, man, we got to make some money back this week, right? We got to make some money back. So it was some gimmies, but, I start going through stuff. First thing that took is
Let me say this, Pat. Let me say this before you get started. First, hit the like and subscribe button. Secondly, again, gamble responsibly. We always got to say that before we start. You may have some new UPers out there, but we're always going to say that gamble responsibly. We're not responsible for losses. We don't get anything for your wins, so don't blame us for the losses. Gamble responsibly, gamble smart. All right, Pat, what do you got, man?
All right. Try to stay focused in because my Sooners are playing right now. So, SEC game, we're excited about the SEC. So I got to lock in with you guys.
Okay.
Pick I got, man, some ones are just going to be some gimmies, right? No way the Colts are going to start the season off 0-3. At home versus a Bears team with a rookie quarterback who's trying to figure some things out. Anthony Richardson has to bounce back from the game he had last week. Really one of his worst games that he's ever played. So the spread is 1 point. And you can really take the Colts for that. Chicago's defense is fantastic, right? And that's why the spread is only 1 because of their defense is fantastic. They'll be able to hit that 1 point just because Caleb is still going to take some time, and I think it's going to be too much Richardson at home for them and too much Jonathan Taylor.
So you're taking the Indianapolis Colts. All right. I agree with you. I think, Caleb Williams is still in that learning mode, although he is a talent. I think he's going to be okay. He's been criticized over the last, couple of weeks, but he's a rookie quarterback. He's going to make some mistakes. He's getting acclimated to the NFL. So I believe you're right. I think it's still going to be a little bit too much for him as he's going through his learning process. The Indianapolis Colts for your pick's not a bad pick at all. What do you got for number 2?
What I got for number 2, hold on, before I even get to my number 2,
okay,
blasphemy. It's disrespectful.
What's disrespectful?
That they picked the Vikings to be 4th in the division, and they picked Chicago Bears ahead of us.
That's okay, man. That's fine.
I know.
That's okay.
I love being underdogs and not talked about because they just going to take care of things on the field, right? So,
yeah.
Well,
you heard that Bonnie Raitt song, right? Let's give them something to talk about. Let's give them something to. We'll be all right.
And we giving them something, ain't we?
Oh yeah,
we definitely give them something. So, second game I go to. Listen, man, I believe the win streak can happen. I think you guys can put some points on the boards. Your guys over in Cleveland, favored by 6.5 points. Home versus the Giants. Daniel Jones is horrible. I do believe the Cleveland Browns defense is that good and that they can turn the Giants over. 6.5 points. Just believe that, I believe Deshaun can do some things to help them, but I believe that the defense is going to be so stout. You're going to have some fantastic field position that he won't have to do much work. Able to walk out of there with, so I, not the most, right, whatever, but this is one of the ones where it helps make your money back from last week, right, is you got to take the Browns, right, at 6.5 points.
Okay, all of UP Nation, when you go back and you watch this, rewind it, take your phones out and take a video of Patrick Buchanan saying something nice about the Cleveland Browns. That doesn't come around too often. He's picking the Browns to win the game, and he's also giving the Cleveland Browns some compliments. No, all kidding aside, I agree with you. The X factor here is going to be how consistent can Deshaun Watson be, against that defensive front. I think Deshaun Watson will be better. Hopefully, he'll take another step forward to getting back to his old self. So I don't think that's a bad pick.
Yeah, so that's another one I feel good about. We talked about in the last podcast and power rankings, right?
Yep.
And I felt that the number 4, which I think they had them later at like number 7, or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right?
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a fantastic defense, right? And they have a Baker Mayfield that is showing people that it was not a fluke, right?
He's balling.
He's balling. Again, this is another game we're talking about. They're going against a rookie quarterback, right? And a rookie quarterback against the pros right now it just takes time, right? I think they're I mean, they have a decent defense over there, but they're just not going to have enough to go to Tampa Bay to upset Tampa Bay. Right now, don't get me wrong, upsets happened last week, but I believe that DNA that Tampa Bay Buccaneers have, winning the division, showing people, hey, man, we about to be one of the first teams to go back-to-back in the C South to do this again. Why everybody preaching about Atlanta for some reason, I don't know. I take the Bucs at 6 points, favored against the Denver Broncos at home.
That's a great pick. I would second that. And I knew you would find a way to circle back and tie a Sooner in with one of your picks, even though it's strictly NFL. I knew you would go with your guy Baker Mayfield. No, but I think that's a really, really good pick. I think it's a really, really good pick.
Listen,
so you
man,
got let's rehash this. You got the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
You got the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And then you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. Looking forward to your fourth one. What do you got for number 4?
Well, I'm going to jump all the way. So those all three are 3 early games, man. We going to Monday night for the last 2, right?
Okay.
Do you know what I'm going to do on Monday night? Probably not.
Whoa.
But
Let's hear it.
what I'm going to tell you is there is problems in Jacksonville. There's a quarterback who is not looking like a $55 million quarterback.
Wasn't he supposed to be a generational talent? That's what they said when he came out.
I just, not too many guys come from Clemson I see great things out of, and talk about, but, it is what it is, there's, but, I do like Travis Etienne, right? Has not been able to hit his weapons at all. And I think that's something they're going to take some time to work through. I think they were a shocker last year of where they finished. Defense isn't fantastic over there. They just got so many moving pieces over there, and you give somebody the $55 million that I don't think was worth it. If you look at his play, even last year versus Baker Mayfield play, Baker Mayfield's making $33 million a year. And I'm going to bring it up because they're stats, right? So you brought, Trevor Lawrence stats. No, ETN did most of that work. You look at the year before, I just look at things, and the year before, him and Christian Kirk were fantastic. Ridley comes over, and Christian Kirk disappears, and now Christian Kirk has still disappeared. We don't know. He's like, where's Waldo, right? Where's Christian Kirk at over there, right? He's invincible. Evan Ingram with some injuries happening. The defense is not playing well. Doug runs his his course with a team, and then it's kind of done. And this is a game where I think the defense, the confidence, got rid of the players over in Buffalo on the offensive end, and meaning Diggs, and they're putting this in Josh's hands. And right now, Josh is surprising me what he's doing. He's got him at 2-0. I believe he's going to have him at 3-0, especially when he went to Miami and beat up on Miami the way he did. So I get them to 3-0 right now, and I got the Bills covering the 5.5 on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I don't see any way Jacksonville can be successful in this game the way they're playing. I mean, it would have to be a complete 180 by Jacksonville and a complete debacle by, the Buffalo Bills. And I think there's a little bit, again, it's a little bit addition by subtraction with the Buffalo Bills. I think Allen is not forced to get the ball to Diggs. He can play a little bit free. The offense has changed a little bit. So I like that pick. So we got the Indianapolis Colts, Cleveland Browns, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Buffalo Bills. Give you a little bit of drum roll. What's your 5th pick?
Like I said, we're staying with Monday Night Football. Instead of what everybody thinks I'm going to do, I'm not taking Cincinnati in the 7.5. I'm taking the plus 7.5 points with the Washington Commanders. My reason being is that things aren't going right over there. I believe that Chase is a very selfish player. I believe his hold in, out, whatever you want to call it. Like, you're not even going to negotiate, still try to negotiate, but then you stayed away from camp. You had all this negative energy coming around everyone. So the organization and putting a franchise tag player like T. Higgins, what in it? Mixon's loss is big. Like, no matter what you think, not
Yeah.
having Joe Mixon, like these guys, not Ford, but Moss is not him. Zach Moss is not Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's showing that right over there with the Texans. So I think the Commanders do not get beat by the 7.5 points. I would take the Commanders in this to not. I just think, Cincinnati shows us he's not a good coach at the start of seasons, and they'll turn it on later, but it's not that time right now.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that would concern me, I think you hit the nail dead on the head about the running game. The Cincinnati Bengals being able to sustain drives and have a legit running game with Mixon leaving. So that is definitely questionable. I always question rookie quarterbacks and some things that really good defensive coordinators can throw at them. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are going to try to give the Commanders a lot of different looks on Monday night. And then I like Joe Burrow coming off a really, really good game. Started off slow the first game of the season, came back second game, and I think he's going to try to build on that the third game. So I look for Cincinnati to score a lot of points. It'll be interesting to see how that game turns out. But you've got the Washington Commanders taking the 7.5 points.
Yes, I do. Got taking the 7.5. Different type of rookie quarterback. I'll talk about him till he's going to be able to use his legs and help move those sticks. And Brian Robinson and Eckler are some of his best friends right now. So they're going to help continuously, and that just becomes a threat with his legs. So I didn't say they were going to win, but 7.5, I don't.
Yeah.
I think this will be a very tighter game than the 7.5 predicted.
Yeah, 7.5 is a lot of points. So you got the Indianapolis Colts, Cleveland Browns, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Buffalo Bills, and the Washington Commanders. Those are Patrick's picks for the NFL weekend. So do what you wish, Pat. When you look at your picks, are you going to parlay any certain games together? Are you going to keep them separate or individual? What's some of your strategies that you're going to go into tomorrow when you put your bets down on paper?
Because of the higher spreads, right, I am going to parlay the Browns, the Bucks, and the Bills together, right? So that is a parlay that, in just a short time, I'm going to be putting my picks in right here. I thinking about possibly just pulling out the Browns in it. I might do two. Like I might do those three in the end. I'm going to pull out the Browns and put the Commanders plus 7.5 in that as well, right? The Colts, I think, is just like that's a gimme for everyone. I believe that is. So I could easily put that in there. But I just want to see what happens, right?
Okay.
I'm over here just doing a little gambling, whatnot, and see what happens. So, UP Nation, I know we all about the Vikings or whatever. And you're like, only time you took the Vikings so far in 3 weeks is when you told us to pull, from the Cincinnati Patriots game, and you told us to take the Vikings. I said, because I'm waiting for the Vikings. Not that I don't believe it. Like, if you want to take that too, which the spread has been just dropping, right?
Yeah.
All the way down to 1.5 points. So it has just been dropping. Tells you when the spread is dropping that much, that means people are betting on Minnesota, right? That's just what that says. So see what happens. I'll just say that. It dropped last week too.
I'm excited. I got my notebook. I got all my notes. Everything you say, I'm copying it down. I got my highlighter. I'm highlighting.
I'm trying to figure out what the lock is, though.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to figure out what the lock is.
Well, I this week I had to scour, and there were, my plan was to do a college game and then an NFL game, but obviously we couldn't get on air to do the college game. My college lock would have been Michigan USC. Michigan has that vaunted running game, physical team, good defense, and then we're playing in the big house. USC, although improved, I just think they're more of a finesse team. They're a little too cute for me, and Michigan usually destroys teams that are cute. And watching that game today, it happened exactly like I thought it was going to happen. Michigan was really physical on both sides of the ball, especially in their front line. They're able to run the ball effectively, starting their new quarterback who can pass it and run it. So he's a triple threat. So that game happened like I thought it would. But then I looked at the NFL and I was trying to find a lock, and I was hoping that you wouldn't pick my game that I have for a lock, and you did not pick my game for a lock. So I was really, really happy about that. And this was hard this week because I think the game that I'm going to pick is, in my mind, is going to be a layup. So for UP Nation out there, this is Lionel's lock. And I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are playing at home. And the key to this, I don't care what happened last week. Last week was a gift to the Atlanta Falcons by the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles should have won that game. All they had to do was run the clock out, go for it on fourth down, burn those seconds off the clock. They would have won that game, and it would have been your typical Kirk Cousins game. This game is Sunday night, and it's prime time, and it's an important game, and it's against a legit team. And I know what Kirk Cousins is going to show up for that game, and he's going up against arguably one of the best to ever play the game in Pat Mahomes, and against that Kansas City Chiefs defense. This is too easy. This is a layup. My lock is going to Kansas City is right now the line is -3 for the Kansas City Chiefs, so they're giving 3 to the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win that game by double digits. I think Kirk Cousins will not play horrible, but he will have your typical mediocre game. Look for him to throw an interception or two, and look for the Kansas City Chiefs to blitz and throw multiple fronts at him to get him to be able to move around that pocket and test that Achilles a little bit. And I look for the Kansas City Chiefs to win that game by double digits. You can book it, and that is Lionel's lock for the week.
Well, Coach, here's the one thing. You two, with your locks. So I'm taking this lock, right? I'm taking this lock. You undefeated in your locks. So, and if we would have got to the college, you would have had that one that already. So you really threw it in spirit. You're 3-0 in them, right? We'll give you that, Coach, right? You're 3-0 in spirit in them, right? So,
right.
Yeah, so I'm batting 500. You're undefeated in it. I got to take that, obviously. So I'm going to take that, and we're going to run with it.
Yeah, but see, you got the harder job. I got the easy job. I just pick one game. You pick five games a week, so your job's a little bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, it's the thing. There's the one thing I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you something that I'm not doing, right? And there's no way I'm going to tell you something I ain't doing, because when you guys coming on here, I don't want to lose people because they doing things that I'm not doing. You know, that just don't even sound right. So those are mine, but I got Lionel's lock in there right now. So I'm gonna get back in my recliner. I'm gonna kick my feet up, watch my Sooners, and get online and make the bets I'm supposed to make. So
sounds good, man. Last thing before we get out of here, what are you looking for from the Vikings game tomorrow? How do you think that thing's going to play out? Now that the injury report's coming out, we're going to be missing some pieces. The Texans are going to be missing a couple of pieces as well. What are you looking for from the game tomorrow?
I mean, this NFL season, man, everybody's getting injured. Oh my goodness, get it out the way. This is going to be a chess match, man.
Yeah.
This is just going to be a chess match, right? They'll prevail just because we're at home, right? We're at home, and we'll have the crowd behind us. Those ticket holders ain't giving up their tickets to them Texans, no matter what. Just think that, we talked about depth, and not everyone else has the same depth that we have. And with the injuries that occur, we've shown all preseason, since training camp, with passing the ways and season into injuries, great GM moves, great culture building. Like we're okay, and it just shows the depth of the team and the development program that they've had over here in Minnesota with developing people, and I think they'll prevail in a tight game But the defense. I mean, if you flow, you gotta the defense, right? Like but I'm not one of them guys that's sitting over here waiting for the other shoe to drop when it comes to Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold, like he's just when you just been through life and in the sense of football life, like that's a lot to go through. And I'm not waiting for the shoe to drop. I think he'll be fine, right? I think it was 212 in the first game, 268 in the second game. This is a top defense. He could put up 252 touchdowns again. I would think we walk away with a W right there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, this game is going to come down to one or two possessions. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the difference is going to be, if I was in the Vikings war room, it could give them a little piece of advice. And I know they're way more accomplished than I'll ever be as a coach in their craft. But I would say this. I know C.J. Stroud very well. I watched him for years at Ohio State, being a big-time Ohio State fan. I think the more that the Vikings can hit him, the better off the Vikings are going to be, even if they don't get the sacks. And I'm not talking about late hits, but if they could just touch him a little bit, he turns into a completely different player. He's a very cerebral player, very smart, very accurate if you allow him to stand in the pocket and decipher defenses. I don't think B-Flow's going to let him do that. I think B-Flow's going to show him a lot of different things and disguise some things. I think C.J. Stroud is going to see a lot of ghosts out there. But the big part of it, if they've got to touch him. They've got to touch him. That's going to be huge. I believe the running game for the Vikings is going to show up. And I think, like you just said, I think Sam Darnold is going to be the same Sam Darnold that he's been for the last 2 weeks. Very efficient, making plays when he needs to, standing strong in the pocket and delivering the football. So I think it's going to be a close game. I picked, before the season start, the Vikings to lose this game.
See, I picked them to win this one, Coach.
Yeah, man. And not only did I say the Vikings will lose this game, but I think I said it's probably going to be the only blowout on the schedule.
How you still feel about that?
Oh, man. I feel differently. I think the Vikings can sneak this one out, but they got to touch C.J. Stroud. That's going to be the key, because the boy can play. Yeah. C.J. Stroud can play, man. And I think the one thing that he doesn't like is just a whole lot of physical contact. I think he tends to fold up a little bit. So if B-Flow can dial some stuff up, I think the Vikings have a really good chance of winning this football game.
I like that. Hey, man, it'll be game time. We'll hit you tomorrow night, be at you, right? We'll get live with everybody, get to post-game reactions, and hopefully there's some good reactions going on. So
yeah, yes, sir. So UP Nation, take those picks and run with them. Those are some really good picks from Patrick tonight and Lionel's Rock. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Join us tomorrow night for our live broadcast starting at 8 p.m. Vikings post-game, get a little chance to talk about the Vikings win. Tomorrow night, interact with UP Nation. Feel free to jump on, engage with us, ask any questions that you may have about the game or anything that may be concerning to you about the Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be all Minnesota Vikings talk. We had a good show last Sunday, a lot of interaction. We're hoping to have the same thing on Sunday night. Pat, anything you want to say to UP Nation before we get out of here, man?
No, man, sit down. It's the weekend. Sit down, enjoy the games, enjoy the rest of college football that's happening today. Sit back and enjoy the games that you're having with tomorrow. Like, you got to realize that we're still growing when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, and don't get your hopes up so high. Just it's a building block. It's one step at a time, right? And you got to take that step mentally with them while you're out there, and understand it's a process out there. So no matter what happens, understand it's part of the process.
Yes, sir. And I think either way it goes, whether it's a win or a loss tomorrow, Vikings going to play. They'll be competitive. That's for sure. So on behalf of Patrick Buchanan and myself, Lionel Jones, we will make sure to see you when we see you. Enjoy that Minnesota Vikings game tomorrow. Latrey, take us out of here, man.
I say I'm the man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who I am?